Hi, I'm Craig, and that's my wife Janice in the background. And welcome back to our series covering us going cruising to go to a bunch of different scuba excursions. As we explained in the last episode, we live in Ottawa, Canada, and let's just say winter sucks. So every year we go south, usually to a Caribbean cruise. Not only because it allows us to dream about our future when we're going to live on a sailboat and live in Caribbean climates all the time, but it lets us scuba dive, which is our next favorite passion beyond sailing. In this episode, we're going to cover our first scuba diving stop, which is Grand Cayman. Then we're going to go on to Roatan, Belize, and finally Cozumel, where unfortunately at the last minute they canceled our scuba excursion, so we ended up doing a dune buggy excursion instead. Not quite as good, but still fun. So let's get started on this episode where we cover our scuba diving excursion in the Grand Cayman Island.
Today is our scuba day, our first one of 3. Where are we going today?
Today we are going to Grand Cayman on a 2-tank dive.
Yeah. So this wasn't originally in the plans. We were going to just walk around Grand Cayman because we've been there before and we know we can walk around on the boat. But unfortunately, Cozumel,
the scuba got canceled for some unknown reason. So
supposedly there's something called the wall here. So we'll see. So we'll show you that. And last night we had our fancy dinner, our first one, which was lobster. Janice loves lobster tail. She was very excited. So that was that. We'll have some probably photos from that. We didn't really film it, but anyways, it's been a good time so far. And the boat is rocking with people, like packed and which is not always the case. It's very active and everybody's getting involved. It's pretty fun. So we'll show you the scuba diving footage probably right after this. Bye-bye.
Okay, the first thing you got to know about Grand Cayman is you don't just get to walk off the boat off one of those gangways and right onto the dock. You have to take a tender, they call it, to shore. And there's a couple of places that do this. Although it can be kind of fun to have a little boat ride to shore, it takes so long to get off the boat, it's more of a pain than it's worth. Once we got through the security gate, we got to a bus that took us to this Paddy Dive Center, and this place was well run. You get there, they have all different sizes of BCDs, fins and whatnot, so when you get on the boat to go out to the dive, you know everything fits. On a later dive at Belize, it was a gong show. The boat showed up right at our cruise ship, so we didn't get to try on anything. When we got there, they had equipment for us with our names on it, and none of it fit me. They gave me a medium BCD when I needed a large. They gave me size 9 fins when I needed a 12. So you started to do that, can I borrow your fins because they're bigger than my fins? It was a pain in the butt. Anyway, that's a story for another episode. As you can see in this one, well run. We got to do a really nice long, I think about 25-minute ride in this boat out to the dive site for dive number 1. Then they moved us to a second dive site. Now, a few people in the comments after the last episode when we mentioned Cozumel got canceled on us last moment said you should always book your dives privately and not go through the cruise ship. And I get that. Had we booked privately, we obviously could have picked a really reputable dive company that didn't cancel at the last minute. But here's the downside to that. You're on a cruise ship. So if you're with a dive company that's not booked through the cruise ship and something breaks down and they get you back to the boat late, it may already be gone. They will not wait for you. For example, in this case, we're 30 minutes out in the ocean in this boat. If this boat breaks down way out there, we are foobarred. And the cruise ship won't wait. Grand Cayman ended up being the shortest stop of all of them. They said the last tender to go back to the boat was 2 p.m. And even with everything working like clockwork on this excursion, they got us back at 2:30 p.m. Had we booked this excursion privately, we would have been panicked at how late we were getting back, but they said no problem, we've contacted the ship, they know you're coming. Do you want to pay a little more and have peace of mind, or do you want to pay a little less and hope for the best? On a side note, I'd planned to drone every island and get some footage, but this time we got back to the boat so close to when they were leaving that we didn't have time. Now let's get on to the scuba footage. As we drop in and start to descend, you can see the water is beautiful and clear and blue. But the coral's got that kind of rusty brown look most places. There is some color from time to time, but it's certainly not as bright and vibrant as it was in Roatan or Belize. Where's my dive buddy Janice? Oh, there she is. You'll know us right away because we have the rental gear with the bright orange face masks. And our dive master, who was great, was easy to follow because he had a Spider-Man wetsuit on. Janice sometimes has issues equalizing her ears properly, and you can see her blowing to try and equalize it. She uses a lot of air that way, so the dive master asks her how much air she has left. This being her first dive in a while, she kind of went through her air quickly on this first dive, but every dive after this she got a lot better at being more economical with her breathing. As you saw there, a turtle sort of swam by us, and Janice loves turtles, so she goes racing off to try and get closer to it. So much for conserving air. Turtles are awesome and very graceful swimmers. They don't seem to be at all afraid of us either. They tend to swim towards us more often than they swim away from us. In the next dive, you'll see a big loggerhead that swims right in between us all. Here's a funny story. I was the only one with a working GoPro as the other one broke. And Janice was pointing at something in these crevices and I was trying to film it and I had no idea what she was pointing at. Clearly in the footage, you can see there was an eel. We've decided we have to get some of these long flippers like this dive instructor has. The guy barely needs to kick and he's moving along. Clearly these tiny little rental flippers they gave me are not quite cutting it. My turn again to hold the one and only working GoPro. Okay, so the next scene is from the second dive and we're just dropping down. I haven't even got the air bubbles out of the red lens, so you can see those little marks in the middle. And then this big turtle just swims right up to us. Like I said before, they don't seem to be concerned about us at all. I'm so engrossed in this big turtle, and I know Janice loves turtles, so I look around to try and figure out why she's not right beside me checking out this turtle up close and personal, and I realize she's nowhere to be found. I mean, really. I'm circling. Nope, no Janice. Then I realized she sometimes has trouble, decompressing her ears, so I thought maybe I better look straight up, and sure enough, there she is, way up at the top still trying to come down. I wanted to make sure I didn't mix up my dive footage, and yep, this is certainly Grand Cayman because I'm still wearing that ridiculously bright orange face mask. It's like something you give to a little child to play in a kiddie pool. I'm just hanging out down here at the bottom, checking out this coral, looking at a few fish, wondering where my dive buddy is. Oh, that's right, she's still up above. She eventually gets down there and then she's fine, but this time took a long time by even her standards. Last dive she was fine, this dive not so much. At this point we're swimming away, I'm almost 100% sure Janice is finally down beside me. Just want to let you know we no longer have the Spider-Man dive master to follow. We have this other guy who's very nondescript, so sometimes it was hard to figure out who our dive master was. If I have to get anywhere quickly, I gotta use my arms because these tiny little flippers certainly aren't getting me anywhere fast. Often found I was looking around a lot of times for Janice, and you can see me looking around now trying to find her. Oh, there she is. Only good thing about having an orange mask is we were the only two people who looked ridiculous, and so it was easy to spot. Believe me, the plan was for both of us to have our own GoPro. It was kind of a pain to hand the camera back and forth, but when one dies out in the boat, you don't have a choice. So we're handing this camera back and forth the whole time. Like I said earlier, there were some colorful spots and of course some nice fish, but most of the coral was this kind of beigey brown color. As you can see, Janice is still, from time to time, trying to decompress her ears, and she's going to show you her very advanced kicking technique. I call it the reverse bicycle. All the best divers in the world are trying to master that technique. Occasionally we came across some vibrant, colorful coral, and of course we have to film it if that happens. As much as the coral here wasn't quite as bright as Belize and Roatan, I gotta say the water was very clear here. There was almost no silt. The coral was better in Belize, but definitely the water was a little cloudier. As you can see, it's my turn for the camera again. Now this diver was being very helpful and pointing out something of severe interest under this rock, and for the life of me I have no idea what I'm about to be filming here. But she was very adamant about letting me know that there was something right there. There. Some of you super sleuths at home might be able to tell me what the heck that was in there. There's something moving. I'm not sure if that's the jaws of an eel or if that was a crab or what the heck that was. Write your ideas of what you think it is in the comments below. And that pretty much brings us to the end of our second dive in Grand Cayman. We are done day 2? Three on the boat.
On day 3.
We just finished our day where we were in
Grand Cayman.
Grand Cayman, yes, for our first day of scuba diving. It was good.
It was very good.
The excursion people were awesome.
Yeah,
but
the boat was fun. Everybody was fun.
What was your favorite part of the
turtles?
The turtles.
We saw a green turtle, and it stayed with us for a while. We got to follow him around.
Oh.
And then on the second part of the dive, we saw a loggerhead. So it was the first loggerhead in wild
Yeah, it
that
was a
I've
big
seen.
turtle. And I got to say that the coral wasn't super colorful. It mostly was that orange. You'll see the footage, so you'll know what I'm talking about. But it's mostly an orangey brown with a few things like those little like tubes that come out that were like bright green or something. But it's,
Ooh, I saw a moray eel at both spots, but he kept not being able to see them. I would point at them.
She'd point, and I'd go down and I'd look in the crevice, and I don't see anything.
Yeah.
It might be on the footage though, because the problem is you're underwater, and sometimes your mask is fogged up a bit.
I got pretty close to one.
Yeah, like twice I saw her pointing, and
Yeah.
the instructor, the dive master guy that's with us is pointing, and I go right down to where they're pointing, and I've got the camera on, and I'm like,
I don't know what they're looking
I don't know what they're looking at. So maybe on the footage it'll show. Maybe my mask was fogged up and I couldn't see it. Who knows?
They're green, like they're not easy. If they're not moving, you wouldn't see them.
And in the crevice, it's kind of dark in those crevices. So, but anyways, so tomorrow is on to Roatan.
Yep.
Roatan for more diving, and then next day is Belize, more diving. So both of those are 2-tank dives. And then the final day we're doing a dune buggy and snorkel because they canceled.
The Cozumel place canceled the dive, and there was only one dive excursion at Cozumel.
Yeah.
And it got canceled.
So
that's why we did the one today.
Yeah, we were originally not going to scuba dive today.
Yeah.
But for some reason Cozumel canceled, and there was no other scuba diving at Cozumel. So that changed our plans. But it was. I'm glad we did today.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I love when the excursion people are fun. Because that makes it a lot better, even if the coral wasn't as bright.
And they didn't care or mind at all that they kind of had to give us a bit of coaching because we were kind of noobs.
They didn't really coach us too much. Well, they got our gear together.
They helped us with all our gear. And
they didn't hold our hand while we're diving, though. But yeah, but the gear stuff was what I was worried about, because a lot of times they're like, just set up your own tank and get, when you're ready, get them to the edge of the boat. And they're like, can't quite remember how to set up my tank. Like, is my regulator on this side or this side? Anyways. Yeah. So they got it set up. So we're good. So it was fun.
Yay.
All right. And then every day there's been a show. They've got to say about this Carnival cruise. It's been very entertaining. Like every day there's so much stuff going on. In fact, we're going to a comedy show right now.
Yeah.
The adults only comedy show at 9:45, and then there's another one at 11:30. They're always funny. So we're going to go to the comedy show. We just saw the regular musical show. Every day there's been a dancing musical. And something new about this Carnival cruise over all the other ones we've done is the dancers are now singers.
Yeah, instead of having 8 dancers and 2 mainly singers, they've all got the microphone headset, and so they all sing. There's 2 guys and 2 girls that are kind of singing more than everybody else, but
they all sing. It's just some of them are more background singers. So, but it's really cool. They all dance and sing as opposed to before. Anyways, so off to the comedy club. Talk to you later. After you've been swimming around with live fish all day, it's a little weird to see this, but we do love seafood.
Hello again.
Hello. So we're in the comedy club. Like usual, it's packed.
Yep.
We've really enjoyed this, and every night they have 2 comedians at different times. So
It's going to be an adult comedy show. We saw her family version last night. She's funny, so we wanted to come back.
Yeah, she's really funny. So we're going to check her out. And we're not allowed to film when she's on stage, though, so I'll give you a show of what the club looks like before she gets on stage. All right, talk to you later. That's one of the reasons we keep coming back to Carnival over the other cruise lines we've tried, is we love to laugh, and comedy clubs are our favorite. Every Carnival ship has a comedy club in the back. And then after that, there's always something going on around the pool. Not that I was going to dance to this, but at least it's lively. Well, that's it for this episode in Grand Cayman. Check the next episode when we go to Roatan. You'll get to check out Roatan by air and by sea. That's right, after the scuba excursion, I actually have enough time this time to get the drone up. And I'll give you my parting words while giving you a little sneak peek of the scuba in Roatan, as you see this turtle that's just maxing and relaxing in amongst a coral reef. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed it. If so, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe. Plenty of more good content coming. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And a special thanks to the patrons that help support the channel. Without them, this channel wouldn't be possible. Until next time, this is Craig and Janice signing off, wishing you safe cruising.